Hey guys, welcome back to Chicken Cindy's. And I'm sure if you saw the thumbnail, you're probably wondering what happened to my Canyon Stride. So if you've been watching any of the channel's videos, you'd see that about 2 weeks ago, me and a couple buds went to Bentonville, Arkansas. So on the way home, my roof rack kind of got loose evidently and decided to take flight like a kite on the interstate. So my bike and my buddy's GT Aggressor, which the crazy part is, while we were in Arkansas, he literally bought a new bike. So he had two bikes with us. We had the GT Aggressor Pro, which was his hardtail, and then he got a new Jamis Squish, which is actually, it's a really nice bike, especially for the price. But for some odd reason that morning, I told him that I'd put my bike on the roof, and there was no rhyme or reason for that. I just decided to do that. And I'm really glad I did, because my bike got destroyed pretty well. So what this video is going to detail is my experience with having bike insurance, because I actually have bike insurance through my insurance provider. I go through Country Financial. The one I go through is located in Mattoon, Illinois, and of course I live in Illinois, and that makes sense for me to have insurance through them. But I have my home insurance, I have both of my cars insured, I have life insurance for myself, my wife, and my daughter, all of us. So we do everything through them. And I went to my insurance provider and asked him what it would take to insure my bike, and I had my bike insured for $5,000. So after everything was said and done, of course, I've contacted him and basically said, well, this is what happened. What do I need to do? And he put me in contact with a lady by the name of Rebecca. And so it was a Friday. The Friday we came home, I don't have the dates off the top of my head, but so the Friday that we came home, I contacted him that day, right, pretty well after it happened. And it's a piece of hair in my mouth. But after it happened, I contacted him. And of course, it was the weekend of Memorial Day, so I did not get really any information until next Tuesday. But it was very interesting. So we emailed back and forth how this all worked. And the very first thing she asked me was, do you use your bike to race to get money? And I remember talking to Eric, who's my insurance provider, over if I race my bike or not, and I don't. So I was kind of like, well, is she trying to scheme me out of this insurance money because I have my bike insured? Which, I mean, come on. I kind of am a little leery about insurance, don't get me wrong. It's just I feel as though they try to find any nook and cranny they can to not pay you what you're supposed to get. So I was kind of starting off on a bad foot with this. I was just kind of like, man, I don't know about this jazz. So I told her no. And of course, the next question she asks is, okay, well, I need all the receipts and anything that you've changed on the bike. Easy enough. About 18 screenshots later with all the receipts, because I keep track of all that stuff. Because if you're going to insure anything, you need to keep track of all of it. So if you're watching this video because you want to insure your bike, serial numbers, part numbers, receipts, dates, all of that is important. Even grips, handlebar grips. I mean, it may seem silly and it's only $20, $25. That's going to add up for your payout, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I sent her everything. And then the next question she, of course, asked was pictures of the damaged items. So I said, okay. So I sent her pictures of everything that got damaged. So handlebars, again, grips, stem was destroyed. I lost my EDC tool, and all this was on the interstate. So, of course, I'm searching on the interstate trying to find these parts and not get hit by bloody semis that are just screaming down the interstate, probably going way quicker than they should, but that's besides the point. So I sent her the pictures of all the broken parts. Okay, easy enough. The next thing she does is asks me to fill out a Excel spreadsheet. She sent me this spreadsheet and all the information that I had on the parts that were damaged and the lifetime of these parts. So I said, okay, easy enough. So from the bike frame, because the frame did get damaged, again, to the handlebars, the grips, and all that, and I had the dates they were purchased, the prices I purchased them for, and if I had model numbers for them, I needed to actually put the model numbers or serial numbers for those specific items. So like for the brakes, for instance, I did the N8000s, whatever, the Dayar XT, whatever they are, and I did that kind of stuff. And then for the prices, I put the price that I paid for them, whether I got them on sale or not, and that kind of a thing. So the total of damage on my actual bike was right at 3,800, give or take. And of course, the frame was the biggest part of that. The damage of the frame, to get a new frame, a new Stride frame, was about 2,800. So, I mean, that was a huge chunk. And then whenever you're adding, the EDC tool gets expensive. And then the handlebars, the grips, and again, the brakes and all that stuff. I mean, that adds up really quick. So that's where I was at. So I was talking to my wife after this, and I was like, well, I don't really know what to expect to get back, just realistically. I mean, is it only going to be half? Am I even going to be able to get a mountain bike? Like, what am I going to do? So I sent all the information to Rebecca, and of course, it was another waiting game. So Tuesday to Friday is when all of this information was being traded and took place, and I was really impressed with the speed of emails. I wasn't so impressed with phone call etiquette. Whether me leaving a voicemail or trying to get a hold of her via phone seemed next to impossible. And I really like talking to people on the phone as opposed to talking to them through the actual internet or through emails. But after I sent her the Excel spreadsheet, she sent it to a basically replacement. It's kind of like a insurance replacement place program. And what they do is they find the pieces for you or the parts, and then they will typically send it to a store to have them repair for you. If you know anything about me, I like to do all my bike work myself. If I break down on the side of the trail, I want to be able to fix it. I want to know what's up with my bike, and I want to fix my bike. So whenever she contacted me, this wasn't Rebecca, this was the other girl from the company that they sent all the information to replace my parts. She was talking to me and basically said, well, here's your options. We can give you the amount to take to the bike shop so the bike shop can fix it, which I love my local bike shop. They're absolutely phenomenal. But again, I like to do my own bike work. So I was kind of like, man, I don't know about that. And she said, well, in all honesty, it's really hard to get bike shops to cash those checks. And she said, so if you want to, I can just tell Rebecca to cut you the check and mail it. And I'm like, please do that. That's freaking awesome. So after everything was said and done, they deduct price for me based on how long I had the items. And the longest thing I had was my bike, and it was about 11 months. So I've not even had my Strive a year yet, which is pretty heartbreaking because I had just gotten my Strive to where I wanted it. It was like finally my bike, and I was just so stoked on it and had such a good time with it in Arkansas. So of course, when this happened, like my heart shattered. I was so disappointed in just what happened. But I got the amount that they sent me that I was going to be expecting check-wise. And the amount that I sent them was about 3,800 in parts. And that was with me being entirely honest. I'm not going to mess with insurance and lie and try to spoof numbers and that kind of thing, because I just feel like that's going to be way more of a headache for anybody. So if you are thinking about doing that, don't. Absolutely don't do that. Be as honest as you can. Just be as upfront as you can. Don't do anything stupid, okay? Because insurance is crazy, and I guarantee they will sue you if they find out, because they like their money. So I still got a check for about, it was like $34.60. So they only took about $300 to $400 away. So I'm super stoked on how that went. Now, I don't know if any other insurance providers do roughly the same thing as that, or if it is different. And what I'm interested in is if you have had to do a bike insurance claim and you either do or don't have bike insurance. So if you don't have bike insurance, did your homeowner's insurance cover it? And how much did it cover it for? Because when I was talking to Eric about it, he said I'd only gotten maybe $500 tops. And of course, my bike's worth more than $5,000 after all the parts and everything. So I was like, well, that would have really sucked. Or if you have bike insurance and you've had to do a claim, whether it was stolen or whether it was actually damaged with bike riding or from an accident, what did they do as well for you? But so forth, my experience on having my Strive basically be dragged on the interstate going roughly 70 plus miles an hour. It was a little bit of a lengthy process, took about a week in total, and then they sent the check on Friday, and I got the check Tuesday. So altogether it was like right at a week and a half, but there was a holiday. I was very impressed. If you have an expensive bike, look into insurance, because this was a crazy, crazy situation. I checked the roof rack, it was tight. I think we went through we did go through a storm with a lot of rain and a lot of wind, and I think maybe just got under it and wiggled it free. But I mean, that sucker just flew off. And of course, me, Jackie, in case you're just like, what the crap? As that thing went flying, it was crazy. But I'm just glad it was my bike because I have insurance on my bike. And Jackie's GT actually didn't suffer too much damage. So I was able to take care of that for him, and we're just working on it. So sad news, Canyon Strive's dead. I loved that bike. and the frame that they have is not the frame color that I like. And to get the bike again was about $3,800, and I really didn't want to pay out of pocket. So this week should be new bike day. Hopefully my new bike will come in. I'll definitely do an unboxing and to put together, but I'm pretty stoked on my new bike. It's not black. I decided to go a little different, but I'm still doing the accent colors with purple because a lot of my components were fine. So definitely stay tuned, guys, and I'm excited. It's a crappy situation, but at the end of the tunnel, there's usually a light, and if there's not a light, look for a rainbow because there's usually something positive out of something negative. So, but thank you for watching, guys. And keep an eye out for that new video. I'm hoping it'll come in like today would be great, but we'll see. But you guys take care and thank you so much for watching. Any questions, please put them in the comments. I answer all the questions. And if you like this content, please feel free to subscribe. And ideally, I'll be on the trail here soon. And we'll get some pretty sweet footage on my new bike. So take care, guys.